Thank you all again so much for being here tonight. I'd like to go ahead and call to order the Seminole County School Board meeting of April 24th. And as we start tonight's meeting, I'd like to introduce to you all Derek Jensen. He is going to come up to the podium and introduce our students who will be offering the invocation for us and then leading us in the pledge.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Griffin. I have a special treat for tonight's invocation. Tonight we have 4 of our Sci-High learners from Seminole High School, and they're going to be joining us to share about their experience in the program this year, one of the projects they've been working on, as well as their hopes for next year. So tonight we have Cruz Campos, Jackson Lashbrook, Sarah Madison, and Jordan Van Syok from Seminole High School's Sci-High program.
Hello, and thank you for inviting us here this evening. Together, we represent the Sci-High program at Seminole High School, led by Miss Melanie Craven. Sci-High is a place for us to cultivate our own educational experience or environment. We pick a project that we're really interested in, and we work with others to get it done. We pick a project, we develop a timeline for the project, and we collaborate with people in our class, people in our group to get it done. And we make sure that we're in charge of our project. We're super excited to be getting to working with this program next year, full-time and on a larger scale.
Sci-High revolves around integrating intense problem solving into a day-by-day basis and into our education. In this program, there are fundamentals and skills that are included along the way. In each of the projects we plan to create, we'll be able to select our projects based on what we think, how we feel at that moment. In each of our projects, we will design them, again, based on how we feel, and take our education into the real world and work with community professionals and business professionals. Sorry. But our project, we picked the mobile hydroponic garden, and the project concept is based on Miss Britta Riley's hanging window garden project. We had discovered her after watching one of her TED Talk seminars, and it helps create like space. It's for like spaces in like cities, very high population areas with little spaces, and you can put a little garden. We picked a wide variety of spices commonly found in dishes we use in our households.
Overall, it's very useful and very helpful for those who enjoy gardening but don't have a lot of space, so people who live in apartments and small houses, specifically aimed for New York kind of deal. Next year, we will all be attending the Sci-High full program. We're very excited about that. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, and
Really especially like to thank Superintendent Dr. Griffin and the school board, all of the school board members for supporting us and really allowing us to invest in our ideas and really further our learning experience. And it's really important that we have this problem-solving incubator, and really we are quite ecstatic to become a part of the full-time Sci-High program. Now please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all so much for sharing about Sci-High. I know it's something that we've all enjoyed watching it evolve, and we'll be excited to come visit you next year. All right, let the record reflect that all school board members are in attendance. Tonight, we have joining us Doreen Licitra from Moms Demand Action, Polly DeLucia from the Seminole County Council PTA, Bobby Aganina from Lake Howell High School and a candidate for Seminole County School Board District 4, Joyce Aganina with Bobby Aganina for Seminole County School Board District 4. Christine Kraus, who is a candidate for Seminole County School Board District 1. And those are all the blue forms I have. If there's anybody else that would like to be recognized, feel free to fill out a form on the back table and bring it up to the clerk. Any agenda modifications, Dr. Griffin?
Just one, Madam Chair. The addendum for good cause is marked on our electronic agenda by a green flag named addendum item.
Right. School board members, any modifications? I have two clarifying questions on 4P and 4Y related to board member appointments. And we'll roll, can I have a motion to approve the agenda outline?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. And we'll move on to presentations and recognitions.
All right, let's go.
Dr. Griffin and board members, while you're coming down front, I'd like to ask Mr. Gard Harold, the principal of Wilson Elementary School, to come up to tell us about some special students from Wilson Elementary.
Good evening, everyone. I'm both honored and thrilled to be here to recognize our students from Wilson tonight. We have a wonderful group of students who've worked so hard on Odyssey. Odyssey of the Mind is an academic and creative competition where a long problem is solved through an 8-minute play. And the entire solution and props are completely composed by the team members. There's also a spontaneous component where the team is presented with a problem and must quickly solve and respond to that problem. These teams have been competing for several years and have put in many hours to prepare and compete in the state competition. But specifically, I'm here tonight to congratulate, and I'm very honored and thrilled for these kids. We have 2 teams going to World in Iowa. So first, our team with problem number 5 received second place at the state competition. It's comprised of the following members. And when I call your name, guys, you can come on up. Nathan Lee, Becton Suber, Samaya Wali, Sahiv Asista, and Ashley Katz, who couldn't be here tonight. She is ill. Her mom, Risa Katz, is also one of the coaches. She's home with her as well. And the other coach we want to acknowledge, of course, is Michelle Lee. Come on up. Joining them for problem number 3, this team received first place at the state competition. We have Chase Law, Nathan McGinley, Zach Otterino, Camden Bates, Brooke Caprero, Clara Boulay, and Raylan Boulay. And the coaches are Faye Law and Tiana Boulay. Coaches, come join us as well. Congratulations and good luck.
All right, Superintendent Griffin, school board members, tonight it gives me great pleasure to recognize the graduating class of our 2017-2018 SCPS Community Leadership Academy. This year's class was only our second ever. During the course of our program, they had the opportunity to get a firsthand look at our schools in action and learn about the many departments that make SCPS the A-rated and premier national district we are. Please allow me to call each of them up to be recognized. Amy Ackmine, Veronica Anderson, Celeste Baez, Patricia Buell, Tashara Cooper, Ellen Goldman, Colleen Gonzalez, Kristen Gutierrez, Nancy Holman, Eve Homburger, Penny Jones, John Keating, Roy Kelsey, Amy Lewandowski, Kevin McDonald, Minnie Martinez, Kelly McParlin, Tommy Mitten, Alvin Moore, Alan Moore, Pamela Neff, Kimberly Ornberg, Tanya Patty, Amy Pennock, Alex Robbins, Wendy Saliga, Jessica Simmons, Miranda Spencer, Carolyn Williams, and Tony Williams. And it'll take us a minute to get situated, and we're going to take a big group photo.
Christina. Oops. Are we? Christina. Christina. Yeah. Well, the coordinator of our Leadership Academy is Christina Lehman. And so, Christina, on behalf of the Seminole County Public Schools 2017-2018 Leadership Academy participants, otherwise known as the bane of your existence for the last 9 months, we just wanted to stop and say thank you. Thank you for your emails, keeping us updated, your warmth and kindness in greeting us each month, and your wisdom in picking better people this year than last. To that end, we wanted to present you with some mostly forgettable gifts to recognize your wonderful traits and to say how much we appreciate you. You know, in looking at your extraordinary skills and talents, we realized that you had a lot in common with another great woman. So to constantly remind you of your amazing abilities, here she is, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. You know, you always came to every meeting with a +1, and we weren't sure if it was a he or she, but we wanted to recognize your camera with a safe lens cleaner for all your shots for the next year's upcoming Academy class. And for the sleep, we no doubt cost you a gift card to Palette Coffee. And finally, to say thank you for all you've done and all the others who put so much work behind the scenes. We were fortunate to be with you. We are grateful for this experience. And from all of us, the 2017-2018 group, thanks for all you do and did for us.
Board members, first of all, can you believe we finished our second class? This was your idea. It happened. We're so proud. Now we have more advocates out in the community who get to see all the things that are going on. Just as we started this 2 years ago, tonight we're going to start another brand new program and recognition that I know is near and dear to my heart and certainly to yours. Our county is filled with veterans. And I've spoken to all of you individually, and thank you for your support. But each board meeting from here on out, we're going to recognize a Seminole County Public School employee who has or is a veteran. So I would, at this time, want to turn it over to Michael Lawrence so we can hear about the very first veteran being recognized in Seminole County.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Griffin. School board members, tonight, again, we have the great honor for starting a new tradition here at SCPS where we'll be honoring one of our very own military veteran staff members at each of our board meetings to thank them for their service to our great nation. It's fitting that our very first recipient of this special recognition is already sitting in our audience. Please put your hands together for our own Chief Information Officer, Dr. Tim Harper. Tim, please come forward to be recognized. Dr. Tim Harper served in the U.S. Navy for 7.5 years, from 1983 to 1990. He attended boot camp near Chicago, Illinois at the Great Lakes and Recruit Center, attended nuclear school here in Orlando, and then opted to support personnel as a religious programmer. In this capacity, he served the nation's religious leaders with their outreach programs, setting up counseling sessions and programs, religious ceremonies, and more. He completed a Mediterranean and Indian Ocean tour in October 1984 under Captain Carlson on the aircraft carrier, the USS Independence. While on tour, he earned the title of Sailor of the Month. Dr. Harper, on behalf of Superintendent Griffin, the school board, and all of us here at SCPS, thank you for your distinguished service and for defending the many freedoms we enjoy today.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce SCPS's Program Specialist for Seminole County, school psychologist, Jennifer Johnson. Jen graduated from UCF with her specialist in school psychology in 2004 and joined the SCPS team in the fall of that same year. In 2013, Jen was selected to be the lead school psychologist and district PD trainer in PCM. In her tenure as lead, Jen has been instrumental in streamlining the SST evaluation processes and providing additional support to schools with challenging student behaviors. She supervises the internship program and coordinates district testing for ESE and gifted eligibilities. Jen is a welcome addition to the administrative staff. With her are her husband of 10 years, Jerry, and their two daughters, Harper 4 and Mackenzie 1. Aren't they adorable?
Dr. Griffin, Chairman Lockhart, board members, it is my privilege to introduce to you our new Executive Director for the Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools, Jean Van Smith. Jean went to Osceola High School. She graduated summa cum laude from Florida State University with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. Jean worked as the Chief Legislative Assistant for State Senator David Simmons before working at Florida Hospital for the past 3 years. Joining Jean tonight are her husband, Aaron Van Smith, 8-month-old son, Owen, and 3-year-old daughter, Ava. Welcome, Jean.
Oh, yeah, right. While we were doing recognitions, we had another acknowledgement request come in. Jerry Wright, who is also a school board candidate for District 4. Oh, you're not who I thought you were going to be.
He's going to go first, and then she's going to go.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Griffin and board members. Tonight's Focus on Achievement, I'm thrilled to present to you our Seminole County Public Schools TEACH program. And what I'm going to do in a short period of time is give you two aspects of the program. One is, what is the program? The other part is going to be, how in the world do we get students to participate in the program? The TEACH program, which is an acronym that stands for the Education and Cultivation Homegrown Program, is a joint venture between Seminole County Public Schools, Seminole State College, and the University of Central Florida. And in a nutshell, the program is designed to go into our schools and find students who are current SCPS students who want to eventually teach high levels of STEM in Seminole County Public Schools. So we're looking at a long-term investment in these students to try to replenish our workforce. So the first thing I want to do is kind of tell you about the program, and then I'll tell you how the team has been working to try to get students for the program. So these students that we're talking to currently are juniors. And for their senior year, if they opt to be in this program, they would take 2 dual enrollment classes, and you have a cheat sheet that has this information in front of you. Those 2 dual enrollment classes you see listed will be through Seminole State, and they are, in a nutshell, intro to education classes, kind of getting their appetite wet for what teaching's all about. So that would be their senior year. Upon completion of their senior year, they would enroll in Seminole State College, and they would take Seminole State College coursework to complete their AA. Part of that coursework would be more education courses. Those education courses, along with the dual enrollment courses, include opportunities for them to observe classrooms. Some of the students talked about wanting to go to faculty meetings, kind of see what the education business is all about. Seminole State has guaranteed us that they will offer incentives, monetary incentives for the students during those first 2 years at Seminole State. This would be a $1,000 stipend per semester for the first 2 years. So those of you that aren't good at math, don't get your phones out, that would be $4,000 during their first 2 years at Seminole State College. Now this money could be used to offset tuition during the first 2 years. However, one of the unique aspects of this program is every student that joins this program will have the same advisor, and this advisor provided by Seminole State will know the uniqueness of the TEACH program, and during their senior year with us, we'll be looking for scholarship opportunities, Pell Grants, monies to offset tuition, so that hopefully the $4,000 stipends they receive can be used as just expenses for them while they're in college. Pretty unique situation. So when they finish their second year at SSC, they would then direct connect to UCF for the College of Education. And UCF is currently working on some of those same types of incentives, and we're hoping we get that commitment from them. It's 3 years down the road, if you think about it, because as I told the students, next year you're seniors, and then unfortunately, you're freshmen again, and then you're sophomores, and then you would actually go to UCF. So we're confident UCF will be able to come up with some of the same incentives. So they go through their 2 years at UCF, and of course they decide exactly what they're going to teach, like anybody else going through the program would be. The uniqueness after that is upon graduation with their credentials from UCF, Dr. Griffin has committed that they will receive a contract to be employed with Seminole County Public Schools. That's kind of the program in a nutshell. There are some other incentives built in, but I want to tell you what the team has been doing kind of behind the scenes, because the question's going to come up, well, how in the world are we going to get these kids? Well, I'll tell you how in the world we're going to get these kids. We met with the science and math department chairs of every high school last week, and we told them that we needed 10 names from each high school, and we wanted to set up meetings at each one of the high schools so that we could meet with these students and explain the program. So the schools did that. They got 10 names, they set up meetings, the principals and the assistant principals and the science and math department chairs set places for us to meet with them, and we went out, team members, we went out and we gave them the program synopsis. We talked to them about the benefits of the program. So in all, we met with almost 90 students across Seminole County Public Schools, all of them juniors, so all of them would be possibly taking the dual enrollment courses next year. At the end of the session, we gave them a quick card to fill out. The card was simply you've heard the spiel, are you interested, are you not interested? It's not a full commitment yet. And I can tell you, out of the students we met, 8 of them said no. And the no's were actually very good reasons, because not going to SSC is a deal breaker. And one student said to me, I got a full ride at Southeastern because my parents all went there. I'd love to do this, but I can't go to SSC. But we had 73 yeses.
Wow.
So that was very exciting. 73 yeses from the students we met. So we also, at the end of the meeting, had them do a little survey on the phones. And of course I said, if you have your phone, get it out. And they all had their phones, so they all got their phone out. And the survey was a quick 5 questions, which I'll send to you later on tonight because we got the information today from A&A department. And it was simply things like, what more do you want to know about the program? What aspects of teaching are you interested in? And it's pretty enlightening data when you look at it, so I'll send that to you. So this past weekend, we sent about 160 emails to this group of kids because we emailed every student and every parent with a personalized email. And the email said there is going to be a meeting for your student and you this Thursday, April 26th at Winter Springs High School at 6 o'clock to talk about the program, the TEACH program. And this Thursday night at Winter Springs High School, we're going to have a group of parents and a group of students, and this is really the first major step we're taking into the recruitment of these students. At that meeting, I will ask the parents, I'll give them all my information and ask them to email me by May 4th if their student is interested, because we do have to have some kind of a deadline because we have to change our schedules and put the dual enrollment classes in for next year. But I can tell you from being in the meetings, I was lucky enough to go to every one of the meetings and talk to the students. They were telling me at the meeting, of course I'm going to do this. So I think we have 73 yeses right now. I'd be surprised if we have many less than that of yeses once we do the meetings, because they seem very thrilled about it. It's been a lot of work in progress. Off the top of my head, I think it's been over a year, possibly, since we started this progress. A lot of meetings, and to actually get with the students and see it come to fruition and see the students excited about the program, it's great. I told every student I talked to, I said, you know, I was this kid. I went to SSC. I went to UCF. I knew I wanted to teach math in the 8th grade. So I'm going to work on getting the $4,000 retroactive. Let's see if I can. You know, they all laughed at that too, and I didn't think of it. But so that's the program in a nutshell. If you have any questions.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love the acronym. The Education and Cultivation Homegrown Program for TEACH. That's awesome.
David Mueller's been speaking to us about this
Yes.
for the last year or two.
He's been
and
a
it's
big
really
part of it also, yes.
Yeah, glad to see it come to fruition.
One of the things that we talk about constantly, that we keep talking about, is, you know, making sure that we have teachers who want to be here, highly qualified teachers. We think we're an attractive district, but gosh, we've got so many kids that are here, and if we could have them stay, how awesome would that be? So once you guys have the whole TEACH thing down, I think we've got a lot of other grow your own professions out there that we need to start working on.
We could start a grow your own superintendent group.
Yes.
And
Yep, let's just grow our own everything.
grow your own executive
awesome.
director, I guess.
You guys are doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We have joining us tonight Nicole Brennenstall from the Sheriff's Office, and she is actually going to speak on item E, which is on our consent agenda. So Nicole, I'll go ahead and turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. First of all, thank you to the school board and especially to Karen Ullman for welcoming us here tonight and allowing us this time. The school board has been such a great support for the Seminole system of care, and by signing the proclamation and your commitment to the children who face mental health challenges. Nationally, statistics, 1 in 5 children face mental health diagnoses. 1 in 10 young people have mental health challenges severe enough to impair their functioning in school, at home, and in our community. Of school-age children, 50 to 80% don't necessarily receive the mental health care that they need. So with that, the Seminole system of care is doing our very best to transform the systems that we all work with, really helping the youth who have mental health diagnoses, transforming the system into one that truly is trauma-informed, culturally and linguistically competent, and youth and family guided. And with that, to read the proclamation, the School Board of Seminole County proclaiming the month of May 2018 as Children's Mental Health Awareness Month in Seminole County. Whereas addressing the complex mental health needs of children, youth, and families today is fundamental to the future of Seminole County. And whereas the need for comprehensive, coordinated mental health services for children, youth, young adults, and families places upon our community a critical responsibility. And whereas it is appropriate that a month should be set apart each year for the direction of our thoughts towards our children's mental health and well-being. And whereas the Seminole system of care, encompassing of all systems, agencies, and programs, through its unique approach to serving children, youth, and young adults with mental health or substance use disorders, is effectively caring for the mental health needs of children, youth, and young adults, as well as their families in our community. Whereas increased public awareness of children's mental health issues may lead to reduced stigma and discrimination and earlier identification and treatment, resulting in lower health care and correctional costs, increased productivity, safety, and stronger families. And now, therefore, the School Board of Seminole County, Florida, hereby proclaims May 2018 as Children's Mental Health Awareness Month and urges our citizens and all agencies and organizations interested in meeting every child's mental health needs to unite and raise children's mental health awareness and help our children, youth, young adults, and their families live longer, healthier lives. Adopted this 24th day of April 2018. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, may I comment? Along with, I know that we all see the value in this, I want to welcome back Tricia Teal. It's so good to see you here in good health again. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for reading that resolution. I think it was important that it be read into the record. Thank you. All right. The two items that I pulled for clarifying questions, the environmental engineering RFQ for continuing contracts and the land surveying and mapping services RFQ. Does anyone feel compelled to serve on either of those committees?
I've served on them in the past. If you need a board member, I'd be more than willing, but if we don't need one, I'm fine.
I don't think that we need one. It's an offer. All right? Okay. That's great. Then I will ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right. Student discipline hearings?
Yes, Madam Chair. My recommendation is that the School Board of Seminole County approve the student disciplinary recommendations from April 2nd, 2018 and April 10th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Right. We're up to public comments. We have quite a few members of the public who have asked to speak this evening and address the board. I'll ask Dr. Calderon to go ahead and read the public input statement.
Great. Good evening. The public input segment of the meeting is provided to allow the public to present specific matters to the school board for its consideration and referral to the superintendent and staff for inquiry and action, or address specific items on the agenda. The public input segment of the meeting is not open to presentation of campaign issues by political candidates or others, student disciplinary actions, pending employee disciplinary matters, or pending litigation. It is not the intent of the school board to deprive any person of his right of freedom of expression. It is, however, the intent of the school board to promote mutual respect, civility, and orderly conduct on the part of members and the public appearing before the school board. The school board expects positive communication and will not permit disruptive, volatile, hostile, or aggressive communications. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes, must clearly identify the matter in which to be addressed. And please identify yourself and your address for the record, and we are pleased that you've taken the time out of your busy schedules to come meet with us this evening and to share your issues with the school board.
We have 5 members of the public who would like to all speak to the topic of the Southern Oaks Phase 1. So I will start with Mr. Ike and then Mr. Anthony. Right?
Hello, my name is Robert Ike. I live at 129 Ethan Hammock Court, which is in Southern Oaks Phase 1. Over the last couple of months, you have become acquainted with my wife, Kristen Ike, and my neighbor, Mark Anthony, as we have raised numerous concerns related to the rezoning of our Oviedo neighborhood, Southern Oaks Phase 1, from Lawton Elementary to Geneva Elementary. As relayed by my wife when she spoke at this meeting on March 13th, a failure by the staff to properly report the school zoning was only discovered after the initial set of homeowners closing in April 2016 attempted to register their children at Lawton. Turmoil ensued, and 10 families were eventually granted administrative waivers by Superintendent Griffin to attend Lawton after our developer Taylor Morrison intervened. At that same time, my family was relocating from Seattle. We had also initiated home building process with Taylor Morrison. I only happened to learn an issue with the school zoning had arisen after stopping by the after stopping by the sales office on April 22nd, 2016, and overheard an irate mother having a heated discussion with one of the sales associates. As you might expect, the sales associate placed the blame solely with the school board. And when I asked for confirmation, he said that, a mistake had been made and that the Taylor Morrison legal team had gotten involved and an accommodation was in the work. Pressing for confirmation, he provided the name of Miss Glinda Ross in the facilities department. Later that afternoon, I called Miss Ross, but was connected with Mr. Rinaldi. Mr. Rinaldi confirmed a mistake had been made and that an accommodation was likely. He commented that the enrollment at Lawton Elementary at the current time was 101% capacity, but maneuvers were being made to include children from Southern Oaks Phase 1 while still complying with the Florida State School Board, class size amendment. Mr. Rinaldi further stated that the Southern Oaks Phase 1 would normally be within a 2-mile walking distance, but that upcoming road work at 419 and 426, they would be providing busing. All that sounded great. The only catch was that my children were aged 3 and 1. Mr. Rinaldi said that they couldn't be considered at that time because they weren't school aged. Mr. Rinaldi recommended that I keep his information of our conversation, and I documented it in an email to my wife, which we have provided to you. As my son now prepares to start kindergarten this fall, we are being told a much different story. First, the opportunity to receive any accommodation was limited to the families in 2016. Then an argument was made that Lawton Elementary is over capacity at 101%, but that was the case in 2016. Now we are simply being told that this is a special request and it is neither fair nor consistent. I can tell you that what is fair and consistent would be currently all 16 elementary-aged children in our 21 home-gated community attend Lawton Elementary. What would be fair and consistent is granting my son and Mark's son, 2 children, the same accommodation for the next year. Finally, a direct comment to Superintendent Griffin and our school board members. As residents of Seminole County, we have the right to raise concerns about our children's education, contact school board staff for information, and speak publicly at this forum. While initially helpful, I feel that the staff is now intentionally ignoring our emails, avoiding our phone calls, and refusing to provide readily available public information. As example, I provide the refusal.
Mr. Ike, you have 4 more members of your community that plan to speak, so if you can wrap this up,
Okay.
that would be great.
I will wrap it up. As example, I'll skip to the end then. In closing, when one of our Oviedo City Council members recently contacted the school board on our behalf, they were plainly told a line has been drawn in the sand and we will not be budging, right? I'm sorry to say that what you have really done is drawn a line through our small neighborhood, and that is unacceptable. I appreciate your time, and we will be in touch. Thank you.
Mr. Anthony.
Senate Board, so this is the second time I've been here. Last time I kind of tried to go off the cuff. This time I made notes, but Rob stole a lot of my notes. So it is what it is. We moved in January, and this all kind of occurred prior to us, but it's such a small street, 21 homes, 10 families, 16 children, and we're here advocating for the 2 children that will be impacted by this next year. That we also found out via the transportation department that the bus route that's assigned to us is going to be arriving 45 minutes earlier than the one for Lawton, obviously because Geneva is much farther away. All in all, you're looking at children being on that, traveling to school over an hour to get to a school that's not exactly close. There are other schools closer to us in the vicinity, also in overcapacity. Lawton is overcapacity at 101%. These are based on the public numbers that we have available. Stenstrom is 105, Evans is 108, Keith is 103, Rainbow is 110, Lawton is 101, It was when these concessions were made originally. They are so now as far as we understand them. Given the fact that the overcapacity percentages are what they are for these schools that are around our neighborhoods, it seems to me that there are concessions that can still be made for Lawton, given that it is the lowest overcapacity school closest to us. The reason for our denials up to this point, we've made quite a few requests, have always been that there are other children that are zoned or Lawton, and we are not, and they are unable to go to school because of the overcapacity. I would argue that those families, that we have a justifiable reason for going to Lawton as well, given the unique circumstances for our community, as those families do. I think those families should also come and speak for their right to attend Lawton, as they are zoned to go there, as we are here today. And I would politely ask that any rebuttal that comes after this be specific to Lawton in our requests and not county-wide. It seemed like last time we were here, there were some numbers thrown around that were more county generalizations. And so I appreciate my neighbors coming out and supporting us on this matter. Like I said, and as Rob mentioned, we are a small community, very close-knit. Our children play with each other every day. We do activities. And this just feels like the one part of our, in my opinion, perfect community, having lived in there only 4 months, that is just not right. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Next, we have Nadine Perez and then Laura Crawford.
Hi, School Board. My name is Nadine Perez, and I reside at 177 Ethan Hammock Court. I have been a homeowner for 2 years in Oviedo at Southern Oaks Phase 1, and I'm also here to express my concerns over a zoning mishap that has affected all of the elementary age children from attending the same school. In a very short amount of time, our charming, small gated neighborhood of 21 homes have become the true definition of community. We have celebrated milestones, birthdays, anniversaries, and holidays together, including lighting up the sky on New Year's Eve. We believe all the kids in the community deserve to go to the same school together. We have heard from the school board many reasons why rezoning for our community is not being considered, but none of them seem to have any merit. School board policies support keeping subdivisions and small neighborhood units in the same attendance zone to the extent practicable. There is no reason to divide the school attendance of a single street neighborhood with 21 homes, particularly when all elementary age children currently attend Lawton. School board policies state that zoning plans should take into consideration contiguous communities as defined by natural barriers, roads, railways. The current zoning plan is contrary to this policy. All other neighborhoods southwest of the curve of 434 are zoned for Lawton, all of which are Winter Springs residents. Southern Oaks Phase 1 is the only neighborhood cherry-picked from this naturally defined area to attend Geneva, and we pay Oviedo taxes. Lawton is 1.8 miles away, while Geneva is between 8.9 and 9.5, depending on the route taken. This distance makes Geneva inappropriate for young children to travel on the bus. The school district is already sending a bus to Lawton because there is no safe walking path to the school. It would be wasteful to send another bus to the same location and would further disrupt traffic on 434, which is a 2-lane road. Traffic cannot pass the school bus, and this road is extremely congested as it is. You've already expressed the current enrollment numbers that are at other local schools. So there's no reason that the remainder of our street cannot attend Lawton when Geneva will be equally crowded. In addition, the schools around Lawton are much further over capacity. And we feel your position that Lawton cannot take any more students is at odds with the numbers for all other schools where you clearly have allowed a lot more children to attend. The most favorable outcome would be a rezone to Lawton. But since that may take time, I support the request of the Ike and Anthony families for a waiver in an effort to keep the children together so that their children may attend the same school as the rest of the neighborhood children. I'm asking the board to please consider a Lawton rezone and put the best interests of our children first as if they were your own. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Hello. Laura Crawford, and I am also a Southern Oaks resident. While I do not have school-age children, I feel it is important that our communities stay together and work to help support each other. As you all know, I have already sent 3 emails in the past week. We are a small community of 21 homes. While we are connected to Southern Oaks Phase 2 and 3 through the HOA, that is our only connection. They are across the street and totally separate from us. According to an email I received from Dr. Anne Marie Cote, is that how you pronounce it? She states that it is important to clarify that although some students were administratively reassigned to another school due to system error, all of the Southern Oaks addresses are zoned for Geneva Elementary. Therefore, excluding those administratively reassigned students, unless a Southern Oaks family elects one of the many Seminole County Public School choice programs, all children living in Southern Oaks will attend Geneva Elementary. First, let me say that our small community should never have been zoned to Geneva and should be zoned for Lawton Elementary. To my understanding, all of the communities that currently exist between us and 417 are slated for Lawton Elementary. Not only are we closer to Lawton Elementary than these communities, they do not even have Oviedo addresses and are actually in Winter Springs. Secondly, Dr. Cody mentions the Choices program. From what I hear, the choices are not great. To me, it sounds like if you don't like it, make other arrangements. I know that sometimes things come across a little harsher in email, and maybe that was not the intent. However, we are tax-paying citizens and should have some say-so as to where the children will attend school. In another response from my first email, Karen Ahman states, I really do hear you and all of your other residents and all the elected that you contacted with regard to your request. As you are well aware, decisions are made and guided by policy. Even though in an incident like this, it feels like a simple request, everyone, countywide, district-wide, would be needed to be treated equally and fairly. First, that this has nothing to do with policy. It has to do with what is right for the children. Putting them on a long, uncomfortable bus ride to and from school is not what is best for the children. It is what is easiest for the board. I am sure you would not want this for your children, so why would you impose this on other children? Secondly, Ms. Ahman mentions everyone, countywide, district-wide, being treated equally and fairly. Someone needs to explain how our community is being treated fairly when all the other communities surrounding us are slated for Lawton, and how is singling out a few kids being treated fairly. I am sure you have heard the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, our village supports each other and needs to stay together. By not allowing these few children to attend Lawton Elementary, you are basically telling them that they cannot be part of the village. Please fix this and let all the children of Southern Oaks Phase 1 attend Lawton Elementary.
Chairman Lockhart.
Yes.
It's very difficult to hear the speakers.
It
I don't know
is.
what's going on in the next room.
Take stock in children's next door, so I think that's even
That's
harder.
right. We've got a staff person that'll go over there and ask them to tone it down a bit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Go arrest them.
All right. Our next speaker is Maria Barker, if you'd like to make your way to the podium.
Hi, my name is Maria Barker, and I live in Southern Oaks Phase 1, 1740 and Hammock Court. I'm here to support and request the rezoning of our small community of 21 houses. Currently, all of our elementary school children go to Lawton, including my child, and we are a close community, and we would love to be able to continue that closeness of our community. So I'm here to support our neighbors, to be able to, for their children to attend Lawton and continue to keep that sense of community and have our children build those memories in the bus, in the school, and us as a family is going to the same school and activities, because that's what also builds the community together. So I'm here to support my neighbors and request that to you guys. Thank you.
All right. Our next speaker this evening is Mrs. Nina Sandberg.
Hi, I live in Oviedo. This is what happens after a parent files valid complaints about wrong ESC services, failure to provide proper public education services, and/or SCPS employee misconduct. The school is not required to address the parental concerns. The school is not required to follow any district directive regarding addressing the parental concerns. The school is then free to harass, target, discriminate against, and retaliate against the child relentlessly. Angry school employees who have no concern whatsoever for the welfare of the child are given a free pass to retaliate any way they wish. The district freely allows this relentless harassment, targeting, discrimination, and retaliation against children in order to punish parents for filing any complaint about anything that is wrong at all. District officials just sit by and do nothing, while unethical school employees are permitted to completely and totally destroy a child's life and terrorize a child because they are angry that they were caught doing things they had no business doing in the first place, or they were caught not performing their job duties. The parents are powerless to do anything but watch their children being abused by SCPS employees who are given a free pass to do whatever they want, however they want, whenever they want, with no rules, no restrictions, no limits, or ethical codes of conduct. They are even allowed to refuse all academic instruction, class participation, class attendance, school attendance, FSA preparation, and opportunities to get grades to the child, and the parents are powerless to prevent it. Employees are freely permitted to misrepresent the truth in official school records as a type of retaliation as well. The end game is to force the student out of the school and even out of the district so that no SCPS employee is ever held accountable for whatever was done wrong in the first place. The child is deliberately and systematically denied a public school education as direct punishment to the parents for ever filing any complaint about anything in the first place. The school board and the superintendent know that business is being conducted in this way. They do not care. My own child's life has been completely and totally destroyed for no other reason than there is no accountability whatsoever for SCPS employees after they fail to perform their job duties or they misbehave towards students. I'm still waiting for SCPS to do the right by my child. My child has effectively been completely denied his public school education because of this unethical and illegal employee retaliation.
So much, Mrs. Sandberg, for being here again this evening. Board members, any comments or questions about any of the public comment?
Oh, ma'am.
I just have a couple of clarifications for staff on the Southern Oaks. Dr. Griffin, you can direct me, and Mrs. Beeman, you may have some input as well, because we do govern by policy as a district school board, and I understand there were comments made from the public that they wish that we would just address their neighborhood, but we don't legislate by neighborhood, we legislate countywide. Our policies are applicable to the entire county, and that's how we have to remain consistent. Is that correct? Okay. When did the initial rezoning occur? What year was that?
Ms. B, was that 2016?
For the original administrative rezone of the neighborhood, I'm not certain.
I'm actually asking our staff.
Mr.
Thank you, though.
Rinaldi?
Good evening. I'm pulling up the original emails that we received from Taylor Morrison, Mr. Larry Mull, and those emails were dated 4/19/2016.
And Chairman, just to clarify, you're asking about the issue that came to the staff's attention, or the rezone of the neighborhood?
When the board took our action to rezone that area to Geneva.
That was,
Okay, that was prior to my tenure here. I believe that was in 2014 is when that, I don't have the date offhand.
Okay, so somewhere in 2014, the board took action to rezone that piece of that parcel to Geneva prior to there being any vertical construction on it.
Exactly, yes.
Okay. And then item V, actually in our board book this evening, I just want to point out, because there was a comment made that there are no parcels between that neighborhood and the 417. And just tonight, I think it's important to note that this board took action to administratively rezone a parcel that is just east of the 417 on 434, on the north side of 434. So that...
That's the Northern Oaks subdivision that we're looking at.
Not at all related to Southern Oaks.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So that action tonight was just taken, so that needs to be taken into account as well. And I understand that there were other school choice options that were provided, while maybe they weren't, I understand you don't think that they're good, but what were some of the choices that were provided?
There are several. Of course, you can always apply to a magnet program, so we sent all the magnet information. From memory, it was a long list. Lair, maybe Highlands,
There were
Springs Elementary.
10 or 12.
Yeah, I can pull the email up. There was a list.
Okay.
I can pull it up. Dr. Cody, do you have the list? I have it here.
You can look at that. I just wanted to quickly get an idea in my mind of what the other options were.
we can pull it up.
And were those capacity transfer options, or were those?
Those were capacity transfer options except for the magnet programs, yes.
Okay. And those options exist because the school is over capacity?
That's correct.
Okay.
Because there's capacity at the school.
Right, at the other schools, right. All right. This board has never undergone, to my knowledge, a rezoning of a neighborhood based on the request of neighbors. We have always gone into the idea that we're rezoning based on need for capacity at the recommendation of the superintendent. So this would be completely a departure from our practice and our policy.
That is correct, and not only, by the recommendation of the superintendent, but after the data review of the information from the year before, and only after certain things have been addressed, would the superintendent make a recommendation for a rezoning.
Madam Chair, I
For
have
the
the school
policy.
list here. I'm going to read the actual email that I sent, so we just cover everything. I just checked the transfer options from Geneva Elementary School for students not on free and reduced lunch. There are many choices. The choices are Altamont, Castleberry, Eastbrook, English Estates, Forest City, Highlands, Lake Orienta, Lair, which includes transportation, Longwood, Spring Lake, Winter Springs, and Woodlands. The magnet programs, which of course require an application, Goldsboro, Hamilton, Idlewild, Midway, Pinecrest, and Wicklow. There also, Ms. Beeman, I did not list it here, there could possibly be a controlled open enrollment option also. Because I wrote this before, but there may be some options for controlled open enrollment also.
Correct, and under the controlled open enrollment, obviously, the Seminole County families get first priority.
And how many students are there currently that are not living in Southern Oaks, but zoned for Lawton, that cannot attend Lawton because of capacity issues?
Don't know the number, but I know we have students at Stenstrom, Parton, Evans, and maybe Walker.
So if we were going to offer this which I'm not at all inclined to do, quite honestly, because it would be a
We'd have to
departure from
back-
policy.
yes.
But even if we were going to go down that path and think in that way, I would think logically we would need to offer it to those families first. So without knowing how many those are, I don't know which families at Lawton currently would be willing to give up their seat at Lawton to provide capacity for new students. There's a lot.
Yes, there are.
There's a lot. All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Rinaldi.
Madam Chair, I have no unfinished or new business, and the superintendent's report are read-only items.
All right. Board members? Mrs. Sanchez, would you like to go first? I know you
Yes,
have
please,
somewhere to
since I
be.
have to head over to Lake Brantley High School. First, I'll do the Central Florida School Board Coalition meeting. We went over the Senate Bill 7026, safety bill, basically trying to keep our students and staff safe. We discussed attendance issues and we are light years ahead of so many other counties, especially in Central Florida. They were trying to figure out how to get an SRO, which is a school resource officer, in their schools, where many of them have to share school resource officers. They don't have one specifically at the schools, and the sheriff department is really not bending and being flexible with them to give them funds to help them. So thank you to our wonderful sheriff's department and our fabulous Captain Francis. We are blessed because we get 50% from them, and we pick up the other 50% and have school resource officers in every school, and we'll be able to have, hopefully, school resource officers, another one in each high school. They wanted to know how we are able to do all that, along with the RAVE app and everything like that, so I've been getting numerous calls on that. And of course, if anybody has an opportunity, look at the different bills and seeing that we have 4,800 schools in our district, or I'm sorry, in our state, and the amount of money that the state is divvying out and the federal government, it's a drop in the bucket. It's not going to make a difference. And Captain Francis even mentioned this at our last school safety forum, that basically $200,000 would cover 2 fences on school property. I also had an opportunity to go to the Metro Boy Scout Golden Eagle dinner. I know that Dr. Calderon had gone to the one locally, and we had our Eagle Scout honorary member, which was Mr. Harvey Massey. So his leadership skills and values and his caring spirit are just amazing, and he's just an inspiration to us all. I just want to give you a couple dates on the Great Start program, and the Facebook page also has the Great Start program, or you can follow them on Twitter, or you can even just go to greatstart.us or scps.us. May 2nd, they have at the Seminole County Library will be presenting story time at 10 a.m., and that will be at the Early Learning Center in Sanford. And then May 3rd at 5:45 p.m., Northland Church, they will have a play and learn class, and that's in Longwood. And then May 8th at 12 p.m., a class, which is a brunch or lunch. It's called Crunch Bunch Eat and Learn, and that's at Books A Million near the mall in Sanford. And just keep in mind that the Great Start program is a mission to ensure that all parents of Seminole County, and that's for everybody, so this is not just for a select group of parents, it's for anybody with babies birth to 3 years of age, to help them develop essential learning skills for literacy in our children. So like their Facebook page, and please, if you know anybody that you would like to have them come to those play dates, it would be wonderful. It's a great opportunity to meet new kids and meet new families as well. Today we had a great, wonderful work session, and thank you for everybody for participating in that. I'll let everybody else discuss the manicure movement, or the man-a-cure, with the child, to stop child abuse. A couple of us had gone to that. And the Spring Art Show is this weekend at Seminole Town Center. It's all day, Saturday and Sunday. And the Boys and Girls Club Gala is May 5th. So there's a lot of things that are coming up. And of course, we have our PTA award ceremony this Thursday. And I'm going to let everybody else finish the rest since I have to get to Lake Brantley. You all have a great evening. Thanks.
Drive safely.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Calderon.
As far as the committees that I represent this board on, we had an Insurance and Wellness Committee update from Cigna, and our next meeting this week will actually be an elongated one where the CAPS report will be presented to the committee, just as we had in our own individual board meetings. So I look forward to bring their feedback and input back to this board. Also had a Zoom meeting, and the good news there, they were given a grant from the state of Florida to install sewer lines, which is the next move forward in trying to update that facility and add more educational opportunities for the community. So we're excited about that. Brew Zoo was their big fundraiser that went off the other weekend, so I'm looking forward to seeing how much money was raised there. And our next meeting at the zoo board will actually be a half-day retreat with our new CEO trying to vision what future directions we want to take that zoo in. So if any of you have input from an educational standpoint, I'd be more than happy to share that with the entire people at the retreat. And yesterday, or the day before, I attended SHAC at the Seminole Health Department, and the presentation was from Nemours, and it was on cochlear implants. And it's interesting, you know I cry at everything anyway, but they showed a videotape of the children, the babies, for the first time hearing when they put it on, and they just come alive, and one started crying and put her head down, and it's just amazing what medical technologies can do to save a life. And they said, most importantly, when you have a child with a hearing loss, we care about it from an educational standpoint, but it has an economic impact as well, as far as what careers they can do in the future and how they can contribute to society. So it was really neat to see the total wraparound services that are offered to so many children. And also was shared from University of Florida and the 4-H. They're having a lot of summer camps this summer for our students, specifically in the veterinarian field. So I shared that information with our vet programs at Sanford Middle and Seminole High, so we know there's going to be a lot of students attending that as well. I've had fun delivering the Arts Alive checks. Thank you to the Foundation for Seminole County Public Schools, where 100% of all proceeds from Arts Alive go directly back to every single school. Out early one morning for the Dawson's Run in Geneva. I think everybody who lives in Geneva goes to that 5K, and that's so neat to have the funds raised to go in the memory of Dawson, who was a student at Geneva Elementary for brain cancer research. Very busy on the math side of the district, both the middle school and high school math competitions. And bravo to Seminole High School, the Dazzlers, their annual Dazzlers review at the end of the year. I would have paid a ticket that you pay to go to a Broadway show. That's how professional that evening is, and every seat was sold out. We had to have assigned seats because it's always overly sold out, and there were parents in the lobby just hoping somebody got the flu that they could buy the seat to come in. We couldn't even accommodate everybody who wanted to be there. And thank you to Leadership Seminole, and of course the school district who sponsors our Leadership Seminole character videos. And bravo, once again, to Winter Springs High School for winning that. And I know you'll probably talk more about Ann McGee's departure, but what a great evening of celebration we had to send her off at the naming of the Student Center. It was really a beautiful evening. And SASA, which is our school administrators organization, honored a lot of our own internally, gave out a lot of scholarships to staff members' children. But I think the highlight of the night was the community partner went to Bob Fryer with Fox 35, and he was just so honored and humbled to receive that. But I think it's important that we thank those great community members who give of their time and their talent to support the schools here. So I'll let the rest, we had one more shout out to Dr. Weissong, I think you're here. Phenomenal internship expo at NOAA's. I've never seen so many businesses out there, and when I talked to the businesses, they were so thrilled that many of them said they've actually hired full-time their interns that they've had in the past. So we're setting them on the right trajectory.
Thank you. Dr. Walsh, you have such a fabulous team. The Exceptional Student Support Services Transition Fair at Winter Springs High School. I'm going to shout out for Joni Shawls, Joyce Tellis, Julie Del Russo, Miss Nadeau, and Michelle Orozco. I hope I didn't miss anyone. In addition to your team, the vendors that come out to support these exceptional students and their families. It's really hard to leave that event without speaking to every single person in depth because there's so much great support out there. I'm very encouraged for the kids as they age out of our school system and into the community. Kudos for that. We've been to many legislative updates. I think we could give the update, all of us. Abby alluded to the Manicure the Movement, and we painted one nail blue representing 1 in 5 children that are abused, and we recognize Child Abuse Month in April. Let's see. Casper Chamber of Commerce had their Promoting Prosperity Scholarship. We gave scholarships to students from Lyman High School, Lake Howell High School, and Winter Springs High School. thank you to all of you for coming out for that, to support that. I went to truancy court a couple weeks ago. It's very enlightening. I've been before, and the numbers of days that students had missed were very low, but this time they were exceptionally high. And speaking to the magistrate afterward, I think that we can work together to lessen the number of days, tighten that up, because those kids not being in the classroom affect a lot of things that we work so hard to have good graduation rates and things like that. Rotary Club of Seminole County South Rising Achievers, we did our big banquet scholarship this past Sunday evening, scholarships for 2 students in every single one of our high schools who overcame really challenging circumstances in their lives, some of them living on their own. And I thank all of you for coming out for that evening to support those students as well. May the 9th at Millennium Middle School, 7 p.m., there'll be internet and online safety presented by the Seminole County Human Trafficking Task Force in conjunction with the Orlando Human Trafficking Task Force. It's a free event. You may register online so that they can be prepared. And I think my last announcement will be Got Drugs on April 28th from 10 to 2. You can drop off your unused, outdated, adult and children prescriptions, as well as your pet prescriptions at any of the local police departments or sheriff's departments. They won't ask you any questions. That's my report.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I want to highlight 2 awards that our staff received this month, both of them related to Bill Kelly's shop and finance. The Florida Association of Public Procurement Officials awarded our purchasing department the Excellence in Public Procurement and Best Practices Award. This is the first time our district has received this award. They are very, very excited, and we are really very proud of them to be able to do that. The school board is one of only 16 agencies to receive the award in the state of Florida. Tremendous recognition. Please tell all of your folks in purchasing. Cheryl, thank you. We're so proud of you. You and your team do an amazing job. Thank you. We know you worked very hard for this. Also, the Government Finance Officers Association looked at our CAFR, which is our Comprehensive Annual Financial Report for 2017, and it qualified for the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. Very proud of the folks who worked so hard to put that CAFR together. You know, bean counters are a special bunch, and we appreciate you very much. Dr. Griffin and I attended the mayors and managers meeting this month, and I understand that he was able to brief each of you individually on the discussion there. Always a great time to be able to spend time with our cities in the county, and I'm sure we'll have further updates. Some of that discussion related to homelessness and some of the discussion related to the county pulling out and creating their own continuum of care. That's an ongoing discussion, and I am very, very appreciative of, again, Michelle and her group with the ESSS, Amber DeMorse and Jania Fuller and Amy Elwood, who have all become experts. They're experts in their field, but now they've become experts in this HUD stuff. That I'm sure that they did not ever imagine that this would become a part of their job, but they have done an excellent job of reviewing options and giving us recommendations based on their expertise of what our thoughts and opinions on that should be. So also the cost of poverty experience, the Sheriff's Office is hosting another one, so if you didn't get to do the first one, that's May 8th, I believe. Talking about Seminole State, we did select a new president. Dr. Georgia Lorenz will be coming from Santa Monica State College out in California. I think she's going to be an incredible addition to our community. She's very excited to be here and start to get to know our team here at Seminole County Public Schools in addition to the team at Seminole State. She was very excited about the possibility of the relationships that we have here already and being a part of that. So very excited. Dr. McGee, it's kind of been, it's one celebration after another for a woman who has given so much of her life to this community for 22 years. To just have one event to say goodbye and thank you just doesn't seem appropriate. So it's just been, you know, it'll be the quarter of Ann McGee, I think. We just keep telling her thank you. And so dedicating the Student Services Building and naming it in her honor was a tremendous event. Thank you for being there. Appreciate that. let's see, the Seminole County Golden Eagle Boy Scout dinner was held just last night, and we honored John Hitt, his retirement from UCF. We also had the Seminole County Prayer Breakfast, which was always incredible, well-attended. John Rivers was the speaker, and he shared a lot of his story of faith and developing his business and what that looks like, and it was really a tremendous impact on everyone in attendance. And then the National Day of Prayer, of course, is May 3rd. I promise I'm trying to get through these as quickly as I can. There's just so much going on. I had an opportunity to be lobbied recently. Stephen Lawmercy is a senior at Seminole High School, and he is the president of 4-H for the state of Florida. And it's the first time in 100 years that someone from Seminole County has been the president of the State Association for 4-H. So he wanted to reach out to me to talk about 4-H in our community, and he shared that there are over 5,000 students in Seminole County that participate in 4-H. I don't know if y'all knew that. That's a huge number, right? So one of the things that he mentioned is that students who participate in FFA, which is Future Farmers of America, that is actually a school club, and those students can get time excused from school to participate, where 4-H members do not get time excused for their projects, which I thought was very interesting. So he helps run his family's agricultural business here in this community, and he just thought that was something that we should know about. So I told him I would share that information and we'd look into it, because I think that's interesting. Yeah, it's fascinating. They also are having their annual 4-H spaghetti dinner this Friday night at the Extension Office. The University of Florida, IFAS Extension Office is hosting their spaghetti dinner. So if anyone wants to go, they're selling tickets for that. And I think that might be it, unless there's anything else to come before the board. Any other items? No? All right, we'll be adjourned at 6:50.